Hey, my YouTube friends and family. Welcome back. It's 2024 and Happy New Year to y'all. So, folk, I'm going to start out the year doing something a little different than I normally do on my channel. I'm going to start out with a dessert, folk. That's indeed a dessert. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to do a pecan pie cheesecake. Yep, a pecan pie cheesecake. I'm going to be using the pecans in this recipe from some pecans from my good friends at Smoky Pecan. You know, I use their pecan pellets in my other videos in my pellet grill, and they work so great. So they're kind enough, and I got some pecans from them. And what we're going to do today is we're going to make that pecan pie cheesecake using their pecans. So, folks, once I get my ingredients together, get everything set up, we'll get back and make this recipe. Just hold tight. All right, folks, I'm back. As you can see, here in this bag, I've got 12 pieces of graham crackers, 12 whole sheets. So what I'm going to do is just going to close this up. I got my rolling pin. I could use my food processor, but I didn't want it real powdery. I want to leave it a little crumbly for this cheesecake crust. So, you know, we'll just bust them up, crumble them up, till we get the desired consistency we want. We want to leave some little chunks here and there. Yeah, just crumble them up, crumble them up. We want a little texture in this crust for this cheesecake. I think that about got it, folks. Then here, we've got a bowl. I'm going to pour my graham crackers in this bowl. In here, I've got 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. In here, I got 7 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. And I'm going to use this spatula. We need all that good butter in there. Yes, indeed. Okay. Now what we'll do is take the spatula and get these graham crackers all coated in that butter, that sugar mixed in, so we can get our crust nice and moistened all the way through. Okay. As you can see, it's coming together nicely, coming together, getting tacky. You know, graham crackers always just smell so good, and it smells delicious already. I can already get the smell of that cheesecake crust. I want all of that little stuff in there. My hands are clean. I wash them all the time. Yep. So here we go. All right. I would say that's mixed together nicely. And what I'm going to do now is get my pan prepared. And once I get my pan prepared, and before we go to the next step, I'll bring you back. All right, folk, I'm back. I got me my springform pan here, 9-inch springform pan. I got a piece of parchment down in the bottom, as you can see. Now, which will help get our cheesecake out later. Now I'm just going to take these these graham crackers, get them distributed in the bottom of the pan. Now I'm just going to try to evenly spread them out around the pan. Just try to, so we can get an even layer. So we can have an even crust on here. Try not to be too thick in some areas, too thin in others. So we're just trying to get an even distribution here. That's all. So we'll have a good base for our cheesecake. All righty. We got that spread out. Now to help me pack this, I'm going to use the backside of a measuring cup to help me pack these crumbs in place. It helps get a more flat surface, even pack on your crust. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Starting to look nice and flat and perfect. Uh-huh. And it also helps to even out the thickness across the bottom of the pan as well. It pushes it around to make you have a little bit more even space around the cheesecake pan. And what I'm going to do, those little edges that's coming up, I'm just going to try to push my measuring cup on around like that just to get them all adhered to the pan. Uh-huh. Coming together nicely, y'all. Coming together nicely. Yep. Bacon make you sing. Did you know that? How many of y'all remember your grandmothers in the kitchen and they would be baking and humming a song and just happy? Those are some great memories I have of my grandmama. When she was in the kitchen doing stuff like this, it just made her so comforting and pleased. So I can relate to that at this point in my life. Okay, folks. Hey, I think we got a nice little packed down crust going there. So what I'm going to do now, as you can see, we got the crust. I'm going to take this crust, I'm going to set it in the refrigerator while I get the rest of my ingredients together so we can get the pecan pie filling to go on top of this graham cracker crust. So folks, when this chills in the refrigerator and then I get those other ingredients together, I'll bring you back. Hey, my YouTube friends and family, I'm back. As you can see, I got me a saucepan on the stove. I'm going to turn my flame to a little less than medium. Mm-hmm. And in here, I got 1 cup of white granulated sugar. We're going to pour that in. Whoops, couldn't find my spatula. I'm back. We got 1/3 cup of melted unsalted butter. Get all that out. Uh-huh. We got 2 eggs lightly beaten. And I just want to note my ingredients when it come down to my eggs, my butter, later on with my heavy whipping cream and my cream cheese, that's all set out to come to room temperature. Because you want to try to have your ingredients like that at room temperature. This is 2/3 of a cup of dark Karo syrup. Mm-hmm. Get all that goodness in there. And in this bag here, I've got 1.5 cup of these smoking pecans, folks. Check them out. All natural premium pecan halves. I put 1.5 cups in this bag and pounded it until I got them crushed up to the consistency I want for the filling. So, folks, that's what I'm putting in here now. Mm-hmm. Looks amazing. One last thing has got to go in here, and that is vanilla extract. My vanilla, after this comes to a simmer and a boil and gets to the color and consistency I want, then I'm going to add my vanilla. So, folks, what I'm going to do is this needs to simmer, come to a boil and simmer 5 to 7 minutes. So once I get that up to that temperature and get the desired consistency we want, I'll bring you back. All right, folks, I'm back. As you can see, we got some bubblage going on here. So That's what we've been waiting on. We got it bubbling. It's been going that few minutes. You can see the color has changed. And that's what we want right there. We don't want it to go no further than that, folks. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn the flame off, get that stirred up. And now I'm going to add my teaspoon of vanilla extract. Pure vanilla extract, folks. Whenever you can, when you're baking, use pure vanilla extract. Got it in there. Gonna get that stirred in. And once I get this all stirred in, and it's time to get it on that top of that graham cracker crust for that second layer of the pecan pie cheesecake, because this cheesecake's got 4 layers to it. So, folks, when I get that crust back out, I'll bring you back. All right, folks, I'm back. Now, I got this pecan pie filling. Now I'm going to pour that right over this graham cracker crust. Ooh, yes. And that's going to create that second layer of that pecan pie cheesecake. So we're going to get that spread around, people. Yeah. We're going to get that spread around nice and even. And then what we'll do, now that we got that in there, as you can see, that's in there all nice and pretty. Yep. Now we can set this aside, and now we'll start working on our cheesecake filling. So, folks, when I get that going, I'll bring you back. Hey, my YouTube friends and family, I'm back. Now, folks, what I got going on in here, I got me 4 blocks of 8 ounces of cream cheese in my bowl that's been softened, sitting out, getting soft. So we're going to get those creamed up and softened up. I'm going to turn my stand mixer on slow to let that break up and come apart. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it's just holding on to the paddle. So we're just going to get that broken all up nice and good. Let that work for a little bit. Yeah, turn it up a little bit to get it off the paddle. These are a little loud, so, if you can't hear me, just bear with me for a second. We're going to let that go until it gets good and soft and mixed up together. Looking good, looking good. Turn it off. I'm going to scrape down my sides. That's one thing about these. You got to make sure you scrape the sides down while you're mixing. Okay. All right, folks. Now that we got that mixed up nice and smooth, in here I got 1 cup of granulated sugar. We're going to add that in. Turn the mixer back on. Get that incorporated with the cream cheese. Turn it off. Get my sides scraped down to where that paddle can get to it. Get it all incorporated. All right. Turn it off one more time. Get my sides scraped. Get my spatula scraped off. Getting smooth and silky like we want it with that sugar. Then turn it back on and give it another few whirls. Oh yeah, folks. All right. That's nice and silky and combined together. Now, in this cup, we got 8 ounces of heavy cream. We're going to pour that in. And we got 8 ounces of sour cream. We're going to put that in. Get everything all in here now, folks. Now we're going to get it nice and juicy. Now with these, when you turn it back on with this liquid on, you got to turn it on slow and be careful because she'll splash everywhere. So we're going to get it nice and incorporated before we turn it up. All right. We're going to get a little, say we get a little slosh going. So I'm going to mix it a little bit with the spatula first. You can kill it. All right. Get my spatula cleaned off. Get it mixed on down in there some more. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Get that all incorporated, nice and smooth like. Oh yeah. We're coming right along, folks. Starting to look nice, smooth and cream and pretty. All right. I'm gonna scrape my paddles down again. Of course, if you don't have a stand mixer, you can do it with a hand mixer. You can do it with a wire whisk. All right, folks. We got that in there. Now to help bond all these together, we're going to do 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And just level off your spoons. 1. Level off your spoon. 2. There we are. Now we're going to get that all mixed in. Mm-hmm. That helps stabilize your batter, the cornstarch does. Turn it up, get that all incorporated. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, now, folks, in this container here, I got 3 egg yolks. Separated the white from the yolks on these 3. We're going to get them mixed in. We're going to pulse it just to get it started. And then we're going to get them all the way incorporated in this batter. Mm-hmm. Get them paddles cleaned off a little bit. Mixed in with that. Mm-hmm. Get that on. A little bit more of that paddle all cleaned off in there. Get it mixed in nice and smooth. Then once we got those egg yolks incorporated, now we're going to incorporate 3 whole eggs, one at a time. Mm-hmm. All right. We're coming along now, folks. We'll get those all incorporated into the batter. I think they're well incorporated. Now, we're going to incorporate 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1, 2, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. 1, 2. Well, we cooking live, folks, and I dropped my spatula. So I'll pick it up. We're right here at the sink. Wash it while that's mixing in. Give me a paper towel and wipe up the floor a little bit where my spatula fell. Welcome to live cooking, folks. All right. All right, folks. So we got our batter all mixed up. So now what I'm going to do is I'll get my springform pan together inside a roasting pan because we're going to do it in a water bath. Water bath will help the cream cheesecake not crack. So, folks, it'll help it not crack. So just hold tight and I'll bring you back. All right, folks, I'm back. Now that I'm back, we're going to take this cheesecake batter and pour it in here, all nice and pretty like. Yes, looks delicious, looks wonderful. We got our pan full. Looks amazing. Looks totally smooth. So next what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my steaming water in here for the water bath. And like I said, that will assist in keeping our cheesecake from cracking while it bakes. So we're going to get that poured in, come about halfway up on the sides, which that did. And what I'm going to do is get this in a 340-degree oven for 30 minutes. Then after that, I'll be switching the temperature down to 310 for the rest of the 65 to 75 minutes. So folks, just hold tight and I'll bring you back when it's time. All right, folks, I'm back. As you can see, we got this out of the oven. Look at it. It's just beautiful. We're going to let it sit here and cool completely. Once it cools completely, then we're going to put it in the fridge. And since it's going to be so later in the day, it'll be tomorrow when I bring it out of the fridge when it's completely cool, when I do the rest of the topping. So, folks, we're going to let this cool out here down and then go in the fridge and cool the rest of the way for the rest of the night. So, folks, when I bring you back, it'll be another day. So, just hold tight. All right, folks, I'm back. It's the next day, and we've let this cheesecake cool in the fridge overnight. So now we're going to take a little paring knife, and I'm going to run it around the edge. This is my first reveal on it. I haven't looked at it. We're going to gently run around the edge on this cheesecake, see if we can get it to release properly. I hadn't used this pan before, hadn't done this before, so we'll see what's going to happen here in a second. Yes, indeed. Okay, folks. Ran that around. Now we're going to release this pan, and we're going to see what happens, folks. Ah, voila. Look at that, folk. Look at there. She came out. I'll give you another shot here in a little bit of the look of the crust on the bottom. But folk, now what I'm going to do is get ready to make this pecan pie topping to go on top of this pecan pie cheesecake. So, folk, just hold tight. I'll bring you back. All right, folk, I'm back. What I got in my skillet here, I have got 1 cup of those smoking pecans, chopped pecans in here. Now I'm gonna put these on medium heat. What we're gonna do is toast them a little bit just to bring out some of the oils in those pecans to enhance the flavor a little. We're not gonna go too long. We're just gonna toast them just for a little while. I got my heat just below medium. Bring it up a little slowly. And just like I said, just to get them warmed up a little bit, get a little of that heat on those pecans to bring those oils out. That's what we're doing right here. So I'll probably toast them about 3 or 4 minutes. And after that, I'm gonna set them to the side, get my other saucepan to finish putting this topping together. So, folk, I'll bring you back. All right, folk, I'm back. All right, as you can see now, I got switched up pans. I got my pecans sitting over here. Got them toasted a little, so I got them sitting here waiting, still warm in that pan. Got 4 tablespoons of butter in my pan here. We're gonna get that melted. Once that gets all melted, then we're going to put our brown sugar in. So, folk, just hold tight while this gets melted. Then once this gets all melted, we're going to add our brown sugar. After the brown sugar is added, it's going to move pretty quick. So, folk, hold tight while this melts. All right, folk, I'm back. You hear that butter sizzling a little bit? Maybe you can't because of my mic, but it's sizzling a little bit. We're going to add our brown sugar. We're going to get that all incorporated in, all nice and good. Let that do what it does. We got that brown sugar incorporated. We're going to let that get good and melted in, mixed in together. Let that go for a few seconds, a couple minutes, because, you know, if you don't be careful, that sugar will burn on you. So just keep it moving. Let it go until it gets a little color on it that you want. I got it right here now. Now I'm going to add my pecans. I'm going to add them right on in there. Oh, yeah. Yes. Got those pecans added. Gonna get them stirred in. Ooh, if you could smell that already. Just the pecans, the brown sugar, and the butter. That toastiness done come through. I'm gonna turn my heat up just a little bit because I'm gonna add this heavy cream and I don't want it to drop. I want it to keep going. In here, I got 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. I'm gonna start with using about a 1/2 cup of it. Leave about a quarter. Ooh, look at that. Leave about a 1/4 of a cup. But right now, get this incorporated in without making a mess. Yes. Get this incorporated all in. You see how the color changed to that lighter looking color? That's what we want because it's going to darken a little bit as it cooks a little bit more. Now, what I got here, I got a little cinnamon, folk. I'm going to put a little cinnamon in here, just not overpowering, but I just want that, just a couple shakes. I want that, ooh, what is that? Flavor to be in there. And folk, that's it. Now this is going to cook for a few seconds just so I can make sure everything is melted, incorporated, mixed together. Because once it cools, it's going to thicken up a little bit more. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's going to thicken up a little more. Let it go a little bit. It may darken a little bit. Mm-hmm. Nothing like a good old bubbly cook sound. See, it's darkening just a little bit more. I think that's close to the consistency I want because you want it to be able to pour. Like I said, it's going to thicken when it cool off a little bit. I'm going to let it cook just a few more seconds. Yes. And then once I let this cook a few more seconds, and then we're going to bring it back for the big pour, y'all. Cover that cheesecake. All right, folks, hold tight. All right, folks, I'm back. We got that pecan topping all done and simmered up and it's nice. So now we're going to pour it over this daggone cheesecake. Oh, yeah, folks, look at that. Looky there. We're going to get it poured on. We're going to spread it around. Yes. We're going to spread it around on top. Get the rest of it. Get all of it. Yes. Excuse me for bumping my camera. So it's okay. Now we got that pecan topping on there. We're going to move it to the edge so some of it will run down the sides of it. Yeah. Hey, I'm not a professional. I'm just a regular old guy who loves to cook in his kitchen. But this right here, oh, I must admit, it don't look bad at all. And y'all got to excuse me because I'm going to take my camera off the stand while I'm running right now because I want you to be able to see. Look, folk, look at those pecans. Look at that run and that drizzle. Look, those smoking pecan premium pecans are amazing. Actually, what I'm going to do, I got a little piece right here. I'm going to taste it. Oh, man. The freshness and the quality of those pecans is delicious. You know what? I'm going to get one more. That's delicious. Mm-hmm. So, folks, check that out. Check that out. If that's not a work of art, I am so proud of me. So, folks, here in a second, I'm going to get this thing sliced and plated up. So, folks, just hold tight. I'll bring you back. All right, folk, I'm back. Man, it's been a journey on getting this done, but I'm going to tell you what, the journey is well worth it. Again, my first time trying to make a real homemade cheesecake. I think it came out wonderful. Had a little trouble with getting my crust off the bottom, off my pan, but I can take care of that when I'm done. But I just wanted to wrap up this video. It looks delicious. Now, folk, we're going to give it a taste test. Cut that. Got some of that pecan pie filling off the bottom. Get this graham cracker. Get everything. Let's see what we got. Well, well worth it. Delicious. The pecan flavor along with that cheesecake, that graham cracker crust, it's delicious. That's all I can say. Cheesecake is creamy, delicious. Flavor, wonderful. So, folks, thank y'all for hanging in with me doing this video. I really appreciate it. Tried a little dessert today. Smoking pecans are the way to go. So, folks, check out their website, smokingpecan.com. Put yourself an order in. They're delicious, work well. And, folks, as I always say, keep on cooking. Thank you very much.